get on. That's the one we got to get out there, boy. You hear that beat right there? Hey!
Well, man, I'm gonna call you. I'm out.
Yeah.
Hey!
Give him a call. Go ahead with that, man.
Hey, man.
All right, y'all.
All right, then, man.
You want one?
L-Talk.
I think 4 o'clock, 9 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
Who you going for, man?
Hey, man, Nah, bro.
Who you going for?
Hey,
What?
take that out there, bro.
Who you going for? NCAA.
Hey, man, we on radio. I'm an NCAA.
Man, talk,
Man, go on outside. You gonna do that, bro? Nah,
Talk
man.
to your people, man.
Nah, bro.
How you gonna kick me out?
I'm gonna kick. Hey,
How you gonna kick me out?
Bye.
All right, y'all take these, man. How you gonna kick me out? What they do that at?
Hey, you turn
What they do
Whose
that at?
show is this?
Hey, he made that baby. He trying to call him with it.
What they do that at, man?
Who's responsible for this?
Who's that? There you go.
Who's responsible for this? Man, y'all ain't want to talk basketball and all that foolishness, man. And it's a serious goddamn show, man. Like, I need to clean up, man.
We don't clean up.
I ain't coming behind y'all no more cleaning up, bro.
Man,
I need to handle that, bro.
you need to talk.
I need to handle that. I am talking, man. What you think? I ain't just moving my mouth.
2, 1.
I am talking.
Words of finance. Talk
Woo!
finance.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. This is Joaquin with the Daily Bread Radio Show, coming to you live from Snellville. I know y'all thinking I'm lying. I'm gonna start just saying Atlanta. Atlanta just sounds better. Let's say Snellville. Where them jokers at? In the bushes? Hey, nah, man, we ain't in no bushes, man. We right outside. Well, kind of. Well, we near Atlanta.
Well.
Put it that way. Put it that way. We near Atlanta.
We're throwing store away.
A real long thrones. Thrones.
No, you can't.
Man, I'm not fooling with you today, man. It's got a lot of stuff going on, man, and things is just happening all over the place, man. So, we just want to buckle up. A lot of stuff been on my mind, man. I've been thinking about a lot of things, and just want to make sure I'm keep everything on track. You know what I'm saying? So tonight's show we're gonna kind of reel it back in. We're gonna do some teaching tonight, man, because I want to make sure that we don't get off task. I mean, we've been having some great guests, we've been having some great dialogue, we're having some great topics, but it's really about, getting back to the basics. So tonight on my way coming in, I was thinking about some different things, because at the end of the day, one of the things that I want to always make sure that I'm doing is giving the listening audience and the people that's taking time out of their busy day to listen, giving them something that if they choose, because it's always choice, if they choose, they could take the information that I'm sharing with them and put it into effect, like just right away. You don't have to wait. You don't have to say, well, hey, I got to wait till I can get X, Y, and Z. No, you could take some of this information and put it right into play, because like we was talking about last week, we already into March. Today's the 15th. So we're at the midway point of March. At the end of March, we'll be through with the first 3 months of the year. We only have 9 months of the year left. So what we need to do is make sure that we're staying on task, and for all of those different goals that we talked about the end of 2017 and everything that we wanted to pull off for 2018, we really need to start looking at that and make sure that we're working on getting those different goals and aspirations and things together, so that way, we don't waste this time. Like, we take advantage of this time and make sure that we are doing the things that we're saying we want to do and doing it consistently and keeping track. That was one of the things, so that's why I brought in my favorite instrument, the desktop calendar. I know it still say February, but trust me, I got my March information on it. And the thing about it is, the good thing about a calendar is, see, mine is filled out. And the thing I've been trying to encourage you all to do, see all the different dates and stuff. I got stuff lined up. And the thing I like about the manual process of keeping track of where things are going is, I mean, you can go from being behind to being ahead. Because when you have things in order, you know when you're getting paid, you know what needs to be paid, you know how much you owe, you know how much is coming out. So now you can make some moves. Now you can start to take some money and start to invest in yourself and get into a position where you could do more with less. Because a lot of times we think that we need, you know, more money, we need more time. What we need more of is more discipline. And that word is so key. And one of the things, I'm going to tell you a couple of quick stories about discipline. Discipline is not when you don't have and you don't do. Meaning, if you don't have access to something like, you know, money, cars, you know, alcohol, drugs, sex, whatever it is, if you don't have access to it, like if you can't get to it, then, and you're not partaking in it, that's not discipline. And it's the same thing with money. If you don't have any money, or you're a little cash strapped, or, you know, at the end of the month you still got more month than money, then you really don't have to be that disciplined at that point. That's just a matter of, I don't have it, you know, I don't have any money, so you can't be spending any money because you don't have any to spend. But the thing about discipline comes into play when now we're going into what we call the second Christmas, which is tax season. So a lot of people are getting their taxes back, a lot of money coming through people's hands, a lot of quote unquote extra money, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, $7,000, whatever it is. So it's when you get that extra money in your hand, that's when you have to have the discipline. Because when you have money in hand, that's when you have choice. That's when you get to make a decision. Do I buy the new Jordans? Do I get me a new outfit? Do I buy some jewelry for mama? Or do I take this money and force it to go to work? The same way that I have to get up and go to work. Put on my clothes, take a shower, brush my teeth, get ready, put gas in the car, get up at a certain time, and get out the door, right? You have to do all of these things. Do all of these different things. Get up, hit the alarm clock, get your breakfast, take a shower, get your shoes, get your boots, get your outfit, get your hair, comb it, braid it, whatever you got to do to get out to the job, right? But you're doing that day in and day out. So when you have this money in your hand, when you have money in your hand, you should be making your money do the same thing. You should be talking to your money. You should be telling your money, you know what? I'm going to need you to get up, get out of bed, get your clothes on, get your breakfast, and get ready to go to work to make me some more money. But a lot of times what we do is we take our money and we let it go on vacation, meaning we just give it away. I mean, we buy stuff that's not going to return money to us. And I know a lot of people that are listening to the show, all of us are kind of like in that same age bracket, 40 plus, 50 plus. So now if you get a dollar bill, you need to be thinking about that dollar bill or that $100 bill or that $200 bill. You need to be thinking about that money, like giving some serious thought to it, because if you spend 100, you should be trying to get back at least 100, if not 50, but definitely not 0. So we got to get out of the habit of spending money, because when you spend money, it's 0. Unless you take your money and you invest it in something. And that's part of my mission for 2018, and we talked about this in 2017. I want you all to start taking your money and putting your money to work. Make your money go to work. The same way you have to get up and go to work, make your money go to work. Invest in something that's going to bring you back. You send your money out, you send $100 out, make $100 plus another 100 come back. And that don't necessarily have to be, so people, I don't have enough money to invest in the stock market. Yes, you do. If that's what you decide that you want to do. You may not be able to buy, 1,000 shares, but you can buy one. Matter of fact, you got different apps and different programs now. You got Stockpile and different types of programs where you can buy what's called fractional stocks, right? So you may have $100, but the stock may be $300. But you can invest that 100, and guess what? It'll buy you 30% of that stock. It's fractional. Stockpile. You can look up Stockpile. Stockpile is one that a lot of people are on. But that's something that you can get into. But even if it's not stocks, you might have a hustle where you cooking. Go out, get you $100 worth of fish, or chicken, or ribs, or baked beans, or coleslaw, something. Get you some little containers, barbecue it, or fry it, or bake it, or do something, make you some dinners, and just go hit all the barbershops, or all the nail salons, or all the hair salons, sell them dinners, make that 100 turn into 200, and get in the habit of making your money work from 100 to 200. Or go out and get you, buy you a lawnmower, start you a little lawn service. Buy a lawnmower, give it to a kid, put the kid to work. Hey, you cut this yard, you get 15, I get 30. You get 30, I get 15. However you want to do it. But you got to start working. You got to start making your money work, because I was listening to an interview. My son told me that's good to be, around young people, because young people still, they go-getters. They don't see no barriers. They tell you about them. So me and my son was having a conversation, and he was telling me about this artist by the name of Nipsey Hussle. He was like, Dad, you need to listen to this brother. He deep. He doing some things. He doing this thing. He hustling. He grinding. I said, okay. So I went on the internet, listened to his interview on The Breakfast Club, Charlamagne Tha God, Angela Yee, and I was listening to the interview, and what he was saying just made sense. This brother was like, man, I'm trying to do everything I can to make music. I'm trying to get me a record deal. If I can't get a record deal, I'll go independent. I'll put the record out myself. I'll record it myself. But guess what? In order for you to go to the studio, to even produce a product that you could turn around and sell, you got to invest. You got to invest some money. So I started listening. I was listening to the interview. It's about 50 minutes long. So I listened to him, and he was making some good points about making money and how he's been able to meet different people in the industry that giving him different advice. Jay-Z, Puffy, Diddy, other people. But while he's out, so then naturally I went from that. I was listening to that, and then I rolled into, he has another segment, it was out on, I think it was World Star, and was talking about this store that initially his brother opened the store, but his brother ended up catching the case, going to jail, so the store got closed. But in the store, what they were doing wasn't nothing illegal. They were selling T-shirts and socks. And this is in South Central LA. T-shirts and socks, right? T-shirts and socks, T-shirts and socks, socks and T-shirts. But they out hustling, doing that, selling T-shirts. But they investing in themselves. They taking their own money and they investing it. Then of course they were selling some narcotics and some other stuff too in the street, but they paid for that too. And the thing that I got out of the whole story, I listened and I watched his whole story about this store. Brother went away, the store, they lost the store, but then they came back. When the brother got out, they came back and brought another space in the same shopping plaza and made it bigger and better. More T-shirts, more socks, and more things, and they made it more upscale, but it's in South Central LA. And just listening to this brother talk, what he's saying is like, we got to take what we have and just make it multiply. We got to make it multiply. And as I'm watching people and doing different things, I'm checking things, I'm like, man, that make a lot of sense. So I'm saying all of that to say, and I know, Chuck Rover, I appreciate you joining us. Keith Reynolds, I see you on. Big D, I see you on. I got to pause. I got to definitely take a pause. And today, I was notified by a good friend of mine, Brian Stewart. We grew up together, just like my brother. I mean, we came out of two different wombs, but if I had a brother, it would be him. So we family, and his mom and my mom were best friends. I mean, just to show you how far back we go. His mother and my mother was best friends, and it was three of them. They was like the three amigos. And then we had another friend, Black Rod. A lot of you all know Black Rod. His mom, Miss Judy, the three of them was best friends, right? So unfortunately, my Aunt Jeanette, I call her my Aunt Jeanette, my Aunt Jeanette's husband, Mr. Charles White, he passed away unexpectedly in his sleep yesterday. And she reached out to me today, and I talked to her. She's doing well. So, I thought about her on the way in. So I want to, take some time to, send out a special prayer to her, keep her lifted up. That's a devastating thing to happen to lose your spouse unexpectedly, because it's one thing, it's already devastating to lose a spouse. It's more devastating when there's no sickness, there's no, we didn't get no forewarning, right? We want to be warned. We want, sometimes it's a little bit more palatable if the person was sick, if something was going on, they was in the hospital. But we going through our normal day, the person lays down to go to sleep, and that's it. That's finality. So, definitely want to keep her, my thoughts and prayers, and Brian as well, Bubba D, and that's just how life goes. So, definitely want to do that. But that was what I was wanting to talk about today, was just discipline about investing. Discipline. When you get that money in your hand, be disciplined to make it grow. I mean, take some time. I mean, look, we got all kinds of technology. And the reason I bring this in to show you all is because the other thing is, I don't want you all to be listening to my show thinking about like when he just telling us all the stuff he taught. No, I'm walking it. I'm walking it. This calendar, and my producer's in there, he can vouch. This calendar, look, I'm gonna show you all something. Because this is just March, right? And this is something that I told y'all to do. And you can see this. It says December, right? Look at this. I got all my bills, everything listed out. Got Merry Christmas here. But I'm filling this out, and here's January. Well, I already did January. Look at January. That was January. That's everything that I was planning out for 2018. So now when I get into 2018 and things are happening, still staying on that same topic, talking about discipline, I've had some things happen to me personally, right? Some money came through, some different things. First thing I thought about was like, boy, I sure. Let me tell y'all something, man. If you, let me give you the number to the shit. This is gonna be like them old people like, This is gonna be funny. But the number if you want to call us, if you want to call into the show, the number is 678-381-1973. 678-381-1973. Give us a call. Let us know what's on your mind. Let us know what you're thinking. If you think we're doing a great job, not a great job, whatever you want to. If you got a question about personal finance, or if you got a comment about discipline and investing in yourself. But recently happened to me. Because anytime, the thing that you have to keep in mind is this: whatever you put out into the atmosphere that you're going to do. Like if you say, "Oh, I'm going to lose weight. Oh, I'm going to eat healthier." Just know whatever you put out into the universe, you're going to be challenged with the opposite of what you put out. So if you say, "I'm going to save money," you're going to find all kinds of deals coming. You're not even going to be looking for a deal, and it's going to be coming to you. You can get this high price, something that you always wanted, something that you know you could get, something that you have the ability to get, especially with it being 50% off, 75% off. You're like, oh my goodness, I just go on and get it. And mama won't be mad because I got a deal on it, right? Mm-hmm. So she ain't gonna be mad because I got a deal on it. Sure. But that happened to me recently. And one of the things, going back to Nipsey Hussle, and I went out and listened to his album. The brother I was just telling you about, the artist from South Central LA, right? So I listened to his album, listened to the different songs, and one of the things that caught my attention was this: the difference between people who are doing things and going for it and taking risks and trying to become, more than they are today, investing in themselves and, like, hey, having vision. The difference between them and people who do what I call play by the rules, right? People who play by the rules, they really do not want to go outside the line. Because if you go outside the line, somebody's going to say something like, you don't need to be doing that. So you come back on in the line, like, yeah, I guess you're right. Like, you gonna spend $1,000 on that? You come on back in the line. Whereas people who don't have a lot of resources, when they get it, they have that hunger. They like, I'll put 10,000 on it. I'll put 20,000. I'll put 30,000 on me. But what we end up doing is trying to stay in the line. Forget the lines. Erase the line and get on out there and say, you know what? I ain't getting no younger. I'm gonna just go for it. And sometimes we are too humble right? About things that we've done because we don't want to seem like we, quote unquote, bragging or we cocky. But it's not about being cocky. You got to have a certain amount of confidence in you, in the skill set that you have, so that way, the more that you start to believe it, other people believe it. But if you don't believe it, other people will still may believe it. But if you don't believe it, ain't nothing gonna happen. So I just listen to, I listen to the lyrics and what they talk about. I ain't from South Central, I'm from Duval, but I'm listening to the brother and he's talking about his story. This is what happened with him. He went to LA County. He went to, a Crip set. He went to, all these different, gang affiliations or gang culture and this, that, and that. Okay, I got it. But guess what? He has a certain amount of confidence where he said, hey, I'm going to put all of this and invest in me. And I'm going to just go all in. So that's what I'm trying to, impress upon my listening audience and impress upon people that's coming around me. I've been doing the show. I've been talking about different things. But here's something I don't think I shared it with anybody, but I'm going to share it with you all tonight because this was on my heart. So that way when people think that we just come into the studio every Thursday and doing this, internet radio and it's just this little, no, what you're catching a glimpse of is you're catching a glimpse of seed time. Like this is just a real small, we're in our infancy. This is small seed, but we grinding on it. We investing in it. We, shooting videos last week, right? So we came in, we shot a video, we get the video edited, we get ready to put out some promotional material. We're doing all kinds of stuff behind the scenes, but here's something that I want to share with you all from 2017. In 2017, I was working with a small group of people, mostly family members and some close friends, on debt elimination, right? Just showing people techniques on how to eliminate debt from their lives. In the last 6 months, I'm gonna say the last 7 months of 2017. The last 7 months of 2017. So somewhere around like May, June-ish, up through December and into like say January of this year. Listen to this number. I've eliminated, and the majority of it was with me. So I'm gonna just be honest with you all. I've eliminated listen to this number, over $75,000 in debt. 75. Now, the unconscious me would say, man, it ain't braggadocious. What I'm trying to show you is that if you listen to this stuff that I'm saying to you, and you start to take some of these steps like this calendar, right? Something as simple as this calendar, I guarantee you, all the people that be listening to my show, all of the people that go back and review it on Facebook Live and text me, I guarantee you 95 to 99% of those people that listen to the show that I love, that's near and dear to me, I love you all. I guarantee you they don't have something written out where they know exactly how much they owe, who they owe from month to month. And then you take it a step further. I even showed you down here, now you probably can't see it, but right down here in this corner, what I've done is I've taken it and broken the interest down, not only for the month, but for the day. For the day. I know exactly, I can look on this page and I can tell you exactly how much it costs me every day just to live. Just wake up, put on my shoes, go to work, come home. Cost me $70 in interest every day. And you might say, well, what does that mean? That means that of all of the outstanding liabilities that I have, mortgage, got a car note, still got some other student loan, got a line of credit or two, got another line of credit or two. All of that interest, right? Interest, you pay interest every day. A lot of people think, oh, I pay interest for the year. No, you pay interest every day. Every day you are paying interest if you have a loan on something. Every day. So how do you change the game? You eliminate the interest, you take the interest that you was paying, and then you come back and you reinvest it into you. So that's why I've been eliminating this debt. $75,000, that's nothing. I still got another $300,000 to go, right? But here's the thing with that $300,000. That $300,000 is going to give me the ability to tell a story and help some people and generate more revenue than I would ever be able to generate with just keeping that debt. Because once you learn how to do something, people will pay you to find out how did you do that. Because everybody don't know how did you do that? Like, oh my goodness, how did you do that? And people want to improve the way that they live. I live a different lifestyle now because, and it's not about a money lifestyle, it's about a peace of mind lifestyle. And I challenge anybody, even wealthy people, it's people out here making billions of dollars that don't have peace of mind. I live a peace of mind. I have a peace of mind lifestyle, meaning I could pretty much do what I want to do, buy what I want to buy if I wanted to, but the discipline that I've learned by making mistakes throughout my financial life has put me in a position where it's like, you know what, I want it, and I'm going to be honest with you all, a lot of things I want, but now I have the discipline to say, you know what, in the long run, is it going to pay me any money? Am I going to get paid because I brought some season tickets to a sporting event or concert tickets? I sure want to see Jay-Z, right? And Beyonce. They just announced the On the Run Tour 2 is coming to, Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I was like, oh my goodness, I can't miss it. And then I thought about it, I was like, yes, I can. Not only yes, I can, yes, I will. Don't tell my wife. She gonna be like the player who got traded, right? She gonna find out what you look. If she see this video, that's when she gonna find out. She ain't gonna be at the concert. She won't be at that concert. Not if old boy got to buy, but I mean, it's the small decisions that you start to make that's gonna make a big difference in your life. Small decisions, man. So I just want to, impress upon you all to just start thinking differently like that. Because then the other thing to that is you got to be thinking about your legacy. We got to start thinking about our legacy. We have to start thinking about our legacy. I'm going to put something to you all. In Metro Atlanta has about 6 million people in Metro Atlanta. And I think of that 6 million people, it's about they said it's about 1 million or 1.25 million African Americans, right? In Metro Atlanta. Now, that's a large population of African Americans, right? In Metro Atlanta. So I'm going to put a question out to you all. How many, listen to this statistic. How many black owned and operated banks are there in Atlanta? In Atlanta, I ain't say Macon, and I didn't say Augusta, and I didn't say Blue Ridge, Habersham County. I said in Atlanta, Fulton County. The land where we've had an African-American mayor since 1972, and this is 2018. How many black banks are in Atlanta? If you know the answer, you can call in or you can put it in on Facebook Live, and I'm gonna just let you all marinate on that. So while you're thinking about that answer, think about this. Think about how many people you know that have a house, that have a car, that have a credit card, that have a student loan, that have a signature loan, that have a line of credit, that have a personal loan where they taking out, that has a payday loan, that has a business loan, business line of credit, business credit card. Think about just the people that you know in your circle that have all these different banking instruments. How many banks, how many black banks do you think there are in Atlanta? In Atlanta. How many? What you think? What you think?
In Atlanta?
In Atlanta. How many?
If that many.
All right, my producer said 2. If that many, right? He said it's 2 black banks in Atlanta. Atlanta is one of the most progressive metropolitan cities in the nation for African Americans. Right or wrong?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, right? Right up there with D.C., New York City, Dallas, Houston, right? L.A., Atlanta's right there. My producer said 2, right? Let me give you the answer. Now, before I give you the answer, think about this. All them different banking instruments that I just named, plus think about this. How many people do you know that have a bank account. Just think about that. They got a debit card in their wallet right now. They have a bank account, savings account, checking account, brokerage account, rainy day fund. Think about how many people you know that have, and that's the bare necessities, right? Everybody got a checking account for the most part, right? Or savings account,
Exactly.
right? Think about all of that revenue. All of that revenue. Now I'm going to take it a step further. Think about how many mortgages are owned by African Americans, right? Mortgages that we have on the house that we purchase. That $150,000, that $250,000, that $350,000, that $450,000, that mortgage. African American originated mortgages, meaning house we saw, we went out, purchased, got the mortgage, put it on the house, went through the mortgage company, which is another form of finance, right? Think about all of those mortgages, right? How many African American banks in Atlanta? My producer said 2. 1, 2. Okay, before we get an answer, how many non-African American banks? Thousands. In Metro Atlanta, thousands? What do you mean thousands?
2,000.
My producer said, he said 2,000. I don't know, but it's one on every corner.
Every corner, yeah.
2,000, say if it's, even if it's 500,
Yeah.
it's at least 1,000 branches in Atlanta, right?
Exactly.
Because if you think about the different, what's all the different banks? You got Wells Fargo, Bank of America, PNC, BB&T, got the credit unions. I mean, and you got the small banks. You got the Georgia Bank of the South. You got, all of these municipal, you know what I'm saying? American Farmers Bank. You got all these different types of banks. He said 2 African American banks. 2. 1, 2. Let me give you the answer, right? So we don't run out of time. If you want to call into the show and think about your area, right? I'm from Duval. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think I've never been to a black bank in Duval County. I don't think, I'm an old school Barnett Bank. I was Barnett Bank. And it was another one, I think it was Bank of America, right? Barnett Bank, that's old school, I know. Bank of America. I don't remember no black bank in Jacksonville, right? I don't remember no black bank. I know one of my partners, his dad had one of the first black banks in Miami, right? That was Mr. Wright,
That's huge.
right? David Wright, but that was in Miami. I don't remember one in Jacksonville. Let me tell you about Atlanta. 5 years ago, it was 2 black banks. You had Citizens Trust, right? And then you had Capital,
Yeah, that's what I thought about.
right? Those were the 2. You had Capital and Citizens Trust Bank. 2 black banks, meaning owned and operated by African Americans. 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. What happened? Capital got purchased by a large non-African American bank out of Charlotte, right? Kept the infrastructure, but eventually they went out of business or they closed those banks, right? So right now in Atlanta is 1.
Wow.
Citizens Trust Bank, 1. Is 1 bank.
That's crazy.
Now, when we say, and I have to do a whole nother show on this one, but let me tell you about how black banks work. Some people, it's 2018, but some people never really operated with a black bank, right? A black bank to me is almost like, it's really like an HBCU,
Yeah.
right? It's really like a historical black college. And let me tell you why. When I go into Citizens Trust Bank, when I say everybody in the bank is black, everybody, the general manager, all the way to all the tellers, the security guard, because we got we got the security guard, but everybody in there, is African American. Okay. But when you go in and you say, hey, I'm ready to start my business. Hey, I need a loan. Hey, do you know, because we making decisions, sometimes we get favor?
Mm-hmm.
Do you realize that we get favored when we sit across the table from another African American that has the ability to green light a loan for you, and you look like they do, right? You talk like they do. You remind them of their aunt or their uncle or their kid or their brother, their sister. Do you realize they have the ability to grant you certain loans and certain things that you need, banking instruments, just because you look like we look like each other, like when you looking in the mirror?
Not that crazy cousin though.
Right? Not that what?
Not that crazy cousin.
No, not the crazy cousin. I ain't talking about Bushuka.
You ain't getting that. Yeah.
I ain't talking. But then what you not gonna do? I'm like, why you out there doing that in the bank? What you not gonna do is talk about I got a strong credit score. I'm at a 482. I'm like, but I mean, but all jokes aside, I mean, think about how that's just how we spend our money. We got to start thinking about how we spend it and where it's going and who is it supporting. You spend it in Bank of America, and Bank of America support all these other entities that's not something that you really are supportive of. That's what you support. So now you say, I don't support the NRA. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And you don't support Donald Trump. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You definitely support them because that's where your money goes. So what I'm saying, I'm saying that to say this. The Daily Bread radio show, the Daily Bread radio show, this is not just an internet radio show. This is a movement, right? This is a movement because what I envision is this. If I go in the bank and ask for something like, hey, I saw this building, it's 15 units and it's 1.5 million. They're going to want me to put 10% down, so I need to have 150,000. They're going to want to, run my credit. They're going to want a personal guarantee. They want to see my tax return. So I go in, I'm like almost like a straw man. I go in, I'm just one person. What I'm looking to do with the Daily Bread radio show is this. Be able to come to the bank with 5 people or 10 people, 700 plus credit scores, cash in their bank account. Now, you don't have to have $100,000 in your bank account, but you can have the ability to get your hands on 10, right? You can have 10,000 in there. You can have 5,000. But if all 10 of us go in, right, and they pull all of our credit and they put all of us on the loan, guess what? That loan is being taken down. And we can tell them the terms that we're going to accept because we're strong enough, right? Once you get beyond a certain credit score, forget credit score. Once you get there, that's part one. Get beyond 700, 750, that's part one. Part two is, and I have documented money in my accounts, right? Because you want to keep in mind, let me put y'all up on something. When the civil rights movement came through and they made it illegal to discriminate against people, right? What did these different systems do? And we've talked about this. They've created barriers of entry. They've created where it's like, hey, you got to have a 750 or 725 credit score. You have to be able to show a minimum of $8,000 a month over a 6-month period in your banking account. And you can't get a gift from someone. So they just put all these different barriers in place to keep us from being able to get into these different places. But if you know that, then it goes back to our original topic, which is what? Discipline. Discipline and investing in you. You selling them dinners, you sell them like we used to sell cakes and slices of cakes, or you selling music, whatever you selling, you getting that money back. You selling tickets. I done sold a little bit of everything, right? But when you get that money back, you start investing in you. Now you can start making different decisions and linking up with other people to say, man, let's do this together. So both our kids can prosper, right? And a lot of times people say that ain't realistic, but I say this: if all of us can get behind a movie and make sure that we go and see a certain movie at a certain time, because we don't want to feel like the person that didn't see the movie, right? If we can do that, we can do this. Because this is going to be this is going to outlive that movie. Movie was good, I grant it. I love the movie, I love the feeling, got it. But this, in this space, this personal finance space, man, this right here is going to go on for generations and generations and generations and generations. And it's going to start with this little acorn called the Daily Bread Radio Show. This little seed that we started, maybe 10 years from now, that's when the seed turned into an oak tree. But just doing the different things that we do and working through them, that's what's going to help to get us to where we're trying to go. But if not, and I see my son join, Joaquin, I checked out, I don't know if he was on early, but I was just sharing with him when he was telling me about Nipsey Hussle. And I listened to him, I listened to the show on the Breakfast Club, I went back, listened to his music, brother saying some deep, positive stuff, right? Coming from a non-positive environment, and he acknowledges this is where I'm from, this is what we do, this is how we get down, but we don't have to be like that going forward. We can be civil and hustle and do it legally and help some other people come up, regardless of where you're from, what colors you wear, and things of that nature. So that's what I'm gonna share with you, share with the listening audience there. I brought a little Post-it note in here because, again, I talked about the amount of debt that I eliminated, but the other part to eliminating debt is the interest that you save, right? So with eliminating that debt, that's 10, 16, 29, I've eliminated also about 40% of interest payments. 40%. Now the average person pays 35 to 40% in interest on outstanding liabilities. So what does that mean? That means this. If you make, let's just use a round number so everybody can understand a round number. If you make 6 figures, because a lot of people, I make 6 figures. Okay, you make 6 figures. If you, listen to this. If you make 100, you paying $40,000 in interest. You make 100, you paying $40,000 in interest. So you really don't make 100, you make 60. But what tax bracket are you in? Probably a 29, 30, right? So now you're paying 30, anywhere from 25 to 30,000 in tax liabilities. And Uncle Sam usually, unless you know some of these techniques that we use on the Daily Bread Radio Show, Uncle Sam get his before you get yours, right? He get his come in the form of FICA, state, Fed, Medicare, Medicaid, all them taxes, deductions that come out of your check, right? So really you make 100, you walk away with probably about 35 in cash. 35. You make 100, you walk away with 35. 40 in interest, 30 to the tax man, plus you got to pay principal payments too on top of the interest. So when you eliminate that, you eliminate interest, what happens now? You're not paying that 40. What happens to the 40? Comes to you. What are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with an extra $40,000 a year? And that's where you have to start thinking like, what would I, and I'm using, arbitrary numbers. It could be 10,000, right? Master P started his whole record business with $10,000 and ran it from 10,000, ended up on Fortune 40 under 40. His net worth was estimated at $300 million from 10,000. So you don't have to have 40,000 or 100,000 coming in. 10,000, invest in yourself, press your own records up. Go sell your own records. Go sell your own t-shirts. Create your own brand, right? So you become whatever you come up with. And let that feed you. So I know we talked about a lot of stuff, but just think about that 40 and I got it written out. 40% interest gone. I don't even pay that no more. I be like, man, go on with that. So when they come talking to me, oh, Mr. Todd, man, go on with that. I'm good. I'm good. I done been through that. So let's get to the book of the week. Every week, must have a book of the week, because this is the key. When you want to change something, the key is right in here, right? And this week's book, now this one's a crazy one. I'm gonna show you all the insight. This right here is just different ideas that I done ran through over the years. This is one of my favorite books, and you hear people use this phrase all the time, but a lot of people haven't read the book. And the book is deep. The book is so deep that you can see mine. I broke the binding because I read it and reread it and wrote it and just taking notes on all kinds of stuff that's going on. I've read and reread this book. The title of this book is called Multiple Streams of Income. Multiple Streams of Income by Robert Allen. Now, to give you a little insight about the author, Robert Allen started off in the late 70s, early 80s doing real estate, right? So he got out and he started buying houses. He was flipping houses and selling houses. So he was like, wow, I'm making a, large amount of money. I'm putting in 10, pulling out 30. I'm pulling out, 40,000. He flipping houses. So he was like, oh, this is great. But then something came to him. He thought about it. He said, you know what? Flipping houses is good, but what if I start to show people how to flip houses? Let me think about that. So what he started doing was flipping houses, making 30,000, 40,000 deals, 50,000. He went from that to start teaching people in seminars and charging them $100, and then he went to $500, and then he went to $1,000. So when he got to $1,000, right? Think about this. He put 100 people in the room, 9 to 5 on a Saturday, 100 people at $1,000 a head. He was making $100,000 in 8 hours, and was doing that every Saturday. So in a month, he had made $400,000, and he found out, like, selling information over and over and over and over, that's the key. And that was just one stream of income. So get a copy of this book, Multiple Streams of Income. He talks about real estate. He talks about investing. He talks about network marketing. He talks about infopreneuring. He talks about investing in yourself. He talks about debt elimination, all the things that you need to be doing in order to become wealthy. All of the things that and it's within the power of everybody, but it starts with decision. That's the first step in becoming wealthy. Making a decision, this is what you want to do, and this is how you're going to do it, and this is what you're going to start with. So, again, the number to the show, 678-381-1973, 678-381-1973. Want to send a special shout out to my pro fights, the 11 fulminating Qs of Ada Omega, spring 1997, celebrating their 21st Q-versary. Rudy Roo, the 97, the legendary, the legendary, they the pace setters. Them boys, when somebody do it, 97, HQ, 8 Omega, spring 97, 21 years in the game. We appreciate y'all, appreciate everything that y'all do for the chapter. And if you see those brothers in the street, the district meetings will be here next week, next Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So it'll be probably 1,500 Qs in town coming to Atlanta for that. The 7th district meeting, Georgia, Florida, Alabama, and Mississippi. That's the 7D, the mighty 7D. So they'll be in town, and we'll be congregating and doing what Qs do, whatever, Qs do. And,
What they do?
No, I said whatever Qs do. I ain't gonna tell you what. I don't know what Qs do. I just speculate.
There you go.
I know what Qs do. But so we'll be doing that next week. I got a campaign that's coming out too. I want to make sure I keep that in front of me. Campaign coming out, so you all stay tuned. We're gonna have a challenge that I'm gonna put out. where we're going to do this final push to raise this money for these college students. Still waiting on Howard to call me back. This is week 2. 2 weeks.
Yes, that's
I'm going to call them tomorrow. I think maybe they lost my voicemail or something. I'm going to just give them the benefit of the doubt.
That's bad.
I'm going to do something that's called assume positive intent, right? I'm going to assume that they are acting in a positive manner. So I ain't going to blast them again. I'm going to just reach out to them. Maybe the young lady whose voicemail is on, she's been out on leave of absence, all right? Maybe she on maternity leave or something, so I'm not going to, I ain't going to haze them. I'm not going to talk bad about them. I'm assuming positive intent, but we are going to help somebody this spring. Somebody, I mean, whatever we raise, we giving it away. So we're not going to be concerned, worried about that. So we're going to get that going. So more to come on that. Next week, same place. Daily Bread Radio Show. Like I said, Thursday, I'm going to have to get out here. That's going to be a tough day, tough night. I'll figure it out, though. We'll figure out something. Because like I said, the bros will be in town and we'll be doing what we do. But the thing that I want to leave you all with tonight is, just get focused, and keep score, and just know that whatever you want to do, whatever dream you have, because one of the things too I thought about earlier today was like, when you get past 50, I think some people, they don't believe that it can still happen. Like whatever you want to happen. Like people like, man, I wish, I made my first million by 30. I made my first million by 30. I'm like, I'm past that. I'm 51. So, but I ain't gonna stop because I'm 51 and just say, oh, that's it. Maybe I was supposed to, hit a lick and I ain't hit it yet. So I might well just, put me out the pasture. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm still stud. I ain't have no kids, but you know what I'm saying? I got, my grandkids and stuff, but it's still possible. It's still possible for you to live the life you want to live the dream you want to dream, and just go after it. Just chase it, because it ain't about the dream. It's the chase that's going to make it feel good when you get to it, or you don't get to it, right? Because sometimes you chase things and you don't get to it, but guess what? You had a whole bunch of fun trying to get to it. So, you're going to have to do the same thing. You're going to have to do the same thing. Just keep grinding, stay focused, get some people behind you, not no dream stealers, but some people that's like, you know what, that makes sense, and do it yourself. You own it. You own your masters. You own your T-shirts. You own your hats. You own your videos. You own it. Don't go giving it away to somebody else and then it blow up. Like you write your own book, right? And you should be writing a book because you got to have product, right? And that's why I like listening to these young people. And this other guy, another artist, he was making sense. He said, look, I can't be in a club. He said, I know a lot of people think I stay in the club because I'm a young, successful rapper. He said, but I can't stay in the club. I got to be in the studio in order to create product. Because if I don't have product to sell, what you gonna buy? Yep. What you gonna buy? So the same thing, as we hear these different stories, we should be thinking the same way. Hey, if you're not creating something for yourself, writing a book, writing a workbook, doing a skit, coming up with a movie, doing something that you could turn around and sell yourself, like I can take this and sell it. If you're not doing that, you don't have no product. Then you just a customer. You a customer. And you don't want to be a customer, you want to be an owner. You want to be an owner. Like I own it. However big or small it is, and when you own it, you don't have to make 10 million and you be getting 10%, you make $1 million, right? But if you own it, you can make $1 million and you got it. It's yours because you own it. So let's get into ownership. Believe in you, invest in you, and go for it. Because you can't, only thing that can happen is nothing. Ain't nothing gonna happen. You lose a little money, lose a little sleep. But when you get to the point where you say, this mine, blood, sweat, and tears, I love it, good, bad, or indifferent, it's no feeling in the world like making your own money. And if you've never made your own money, I challenge you to get to the point where it's nothing like somebody putting some money in your hand and you look at it and say, you know what, this is me. This is me. This ain't come from Mr. Charlie. Ain't nobody give me this. This is me. It's nothing, no better feeling in the world than that. Get to your own. And for us, as a people, as a community, hey, we got to get to the point where we self-reliant. Play the game. Get in the game and play the game. Get in the game and play the game. So I want to thank y'all for tuning in tonight. Make sure you share, the Daily Bread with your friends and co-workers and people out on Facebook Live. We ain't stopping. This is episode 42. So we got 958? We got 958 more shows. So I'm in it for the long haul. We ain't going nowhere. We right here at Daily Bread Radio Show. I want to thank y'all for tuning in. I appreciate you. I love y'all. Y'all have a good evening, and I'll see y'all next Thursday. Roo-de-roo, 97. Oh, man. Boy, you played the right thing on the right day, boy. I'm trying to tell you, man. Hype is an understatement. Hype is an understatement, boy. What that was? Man, y'all know a producer, man. Call me. Y'all know a producer? Y'all call me, man.
Shut your mic up.
Look. I choked this microphone.
Don't start crying, man. Don't start crying.
Man, I ain't gonna cry, man. I'm just so happy though, bro. Oh! Man, you know right what to play.
In their heart. Now do it, look.